This is the second tutorial in a series of tutorials on a very basic instrument trainer written in JavaScript. The first tutorial covers the URL and all that. Here's the home page. And what we're going to cover in this tutorial is quickly try to introduce how the navigation works on this particular trainer. So what we see here is the airplane is in the map here, and it's over the Ithaca VOR flying northbound on a northerly heading with the OBS set to north. So the needle is centering as it should for a VOR. If I want to change my position, I can click where I want the airplane to be relative to that nav aid. So if I click there, now we can see the airplane is down and to the left of the nav aid. And I could adjust the OBS to try to find the heading to that nav aid by rotating. If I click on the right, it'll rotate to the right. If I click on the left, it'll rotate to the left. So I'm going to find a heading that will take me to that nav aid. Let's say about 060, since that seems to be coming in. I'll put the heading bug on 060. Clicking on the right of the AI will bring me around. We'll get a nice standard rate turn going. I can fine-tune the heading bug while it's turning. And as we get close to 060, I'll go back to the attitude indicator, click on the left, and rotate to wings level. And we're at approximately 060, and what we see here is that the desired inbound track that we want is off to the left. So what I can do to intercept that is add an intercept angle, we'll say of about 20 degrees in this particular instance. We'll go wings level, and what we should see is we are coming in on that radial. And we don't want to wait too long here, so maybe I'll adjust the radial just a little bit closer to center. And then as we get close to it, the needle centers up. We will start a bank to the same heading as the OBS. There's no wind right now. We'll get into wind later. And you can see now the plane will be tracking inbound to the Ithaca nav aid, the Ithaca VOR, on a heading of about 058. And you can adjust this. It acts like a real plane. So that's the basics of, how the OBS works, and in a quick introduction to intercepting a radial. If you want to change nav aids, I can tune the second one to some other nav aid. I've got a few pre-programmed here. In the future, I plan to add the ability to edit your own nav aids. You can take the information out of the airport facility directory and type it directly in. That is a future feature though, and is not yet available. So I can tune to different nav aids that are available by clicking the tune button. And I'm going to go to a nearby VOR, a nearby VOR Elmira, and I'll switch that to be the active. What you see is this this indicator down here on nav 2, it goes dead. There's no DME. It shows nav, and everything's kind of centered up. What we can do to make that active is hit ID. And now it's actually showing our distance to Elmira. So if I wanted to find a course to Elmira, I could turn the OBS till it said 2 and get the needle centered up, say to a heading of 240. So we want to turn left to 240. Start a turn. And we will wait for it to come around. While it's doing that, you can kind of see as we get off course here for Ithaca, you can see that the Ithaca, where the radial is getting off to our right since we're making a left-hand turn. And the other thing about turning in this simulator is it's meant to be very stable, as mentioned in the first tutorial. So you can bank it by quite a bit if you want to increase your rate of turn. It will always maintain level flight, so it's not realistic in that respect. As we come around close to 240, we're in a medium bank turn here. We'll begin a rollout. And there we are on 240, and we're headed towards Elmira. If the same procedure, if I wanted to tune radio 1 to Elmira now and use that as my primary navigational device, I could set that for Elmira by hitting the tune button, switch it to the active, it goes dead here, click ID, and it should be now active. And it shows that we are on the 060 degree radial from Elmira, which makes sense. If I wanted to then use Ithaca on my second VOR, I could click Ithaca to be the active. Oops. Sorry. And click on ID, and that will make Ithaca active. And so that's the basics of how to adjust the OBS, clicking on the right and left of this, how to tune and identify navigational aids, and how to adjust your position on the map by just clicking on the map. If I wanted to go back to the VOR, I could click right on the VOR. If I wanted to go north, I can click north. A little bit south, I can click south.